Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit from Monday Morning Reddit. All right, folks. Our first letter is titled, "Will I be the jerk if I change the lock without telling my landlord?" I am a 25-year-old female, and I recently moved into a house shared with 4 other guys. All is fine and dandy, but our landlord keeps dropping in unannounced and letting himself into the house. Our contract states that he should give us at least 24 hours warning, but when I brought this up with him, he said that he was in the area and took the opportunity to check on the house. He also said that none of the men in the house were complaining, as if I was blowing this out of proportion. The last time he was here, he let himself into my room while I was at work and moved some of the furniture and items around. I could tell that my drawers had also been opened. I asked him to please not come into my room while I was out again, and he said that it was his house and he had every right to inspect it. I find it so intrusive, and I don't want him coming into my room without my permission. As far as I know, nothing is missing, and I never leave any precious jewelry in my room, but I still don't like that he can just let himself in whenever. One of my friends suggested changing the lock to my room multiple times, if necessary, without telling the landlord, so I was thinking of doing that. I'd obviously put back the original lock before moving out. I can't afford to move until February, so that's not an option at the moment, but I'll be out of here as soon as I can. Will I be the jerk? Also, advice is welcome. Edit to add, for clarity, the lock in question is my personal room, not the whole house. Alright, folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
You're absolutely not the jerk to be feeling creeped out by this situation.
Yeah.
This is definitely not right. Now, I would caution to check your lease and
Yeah.
check the laws in your
Yeah.
area because you may not be legally allowed to change the locks.
Yeah.
But install some kind of camera so you have some kind of record of what he's doing. And
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's really what this boils down to is make sure that you're legally allowed to do this, because if you can't move until February, if he evicts you out, then that's going to be no good. But I mean, like, if he starts the eviction process, a lot of places have like 90 days anyways, so you might just get 3 months of rent for free if
but
that's the case,
it
right?
can make it hard to get
Yeah.
another apartment if you have an eviction on your record.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go the eviction route if you at all can, right? Can avoid it. But I would definitely look for some free legal advice. I would talk to some lawyers if you can. Get them to look over your lease if you can, so that they can find out for sure whether or not you can do about this situation, and just check your local laws and find out what you can do. And I think that's really the best you can do if you can't move immediately.
And I would also recommend checking your personal effects in those drawers. Like, I have a sneaking suspicion that this may be very creepy things he's doing, so make sure that your clothes haven't been tampered with or
Yeah,
taken.
yeah, and also check for cameras. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Amber might have said that, but
No, I forgot to mention
yeah,
it.
make sure to check for cameras. You really don't want this guy recording you. And Amber said, of course, put a nanny cam in so that you can monitor him, so that you can start to collect a paper trail. One thing that OP doesn't mention here is that he actually only communicates through their phone. He doesn't have any kind of paper trail at all, which sounds really, really,
Really sus.
yeah, suspect. Exactly. So I would be very careful in this situation, OP. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And No Beautiful 2873 says, put locks on your drawers and on your closet and your bedroom door. He can be let into the apartment, but checking a personal room is completely different, I think. And OP replies, smart, I will definitely do this, thank you. And I do think that putting additional locks wherever OP can would be a really good idea.
Right, because you can't, like, he has no right to your furniture you paid for.
Yeah, just have like a glitter bomb of, okay, yeah, glitter bomb him. And when he enters your room, just set up a glitter bomb. And then, like, that's a non-destructive, non-harmful thing, and he'll get covered in glitter, and maybe that'll be a deterrent for him if he's opening up your drawers.
Although I would find some way to do it so it still looks like an accident and not like a trap. Like, I don't know if you have some kind of like glittery makeup powder you could have just precariously balanced or something, but I'd be very careful.
I would just,
You don't want to get on this man's bad side.
I would make sure to get him glittered all up. All the glitter,
Wait to
OP.
do that until your
All
last
the
day.
glitter. Every last fleck of glitter. Make sure it's biodegradable glitter, but all the glitter. All right, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for correcting my coworker's Spanish pronunciation even though I'm not fluent myself? I'm a 35-year-old male, and I have started working at a new company a few weeks ago. It was a good run, OP. Have a good time in the unemployed line. A few people were on their annual leave at the time, and I haven't met anyone in my department yet. Last night, I attended a Christmas dinner organized by my company, and later, we went to a pub and had a night out. There was this woman there, Wendy, early 30s, I think, whom I haven't met before, but apparently she's been working at the company for years, but was traveling for work recently. She was cute, so I tried to chat her up a few times, but she was kind of rude to me and ignored me. I then heard her speak Spanish to someone and thought I could impress her. I took 2 years of Spanish in secondary school, so I know the basics, and obviously I traveled to ILBZA in my university years. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm really sorry, folks. And we'll soon find out that he probably doesn't either. I know basic, but I'm not fluent, but I remember enough to tell that she was incorrect by correcting her. When she was talking to her friend, she was switching between languages, and he would pronounce things wrong as well. For example, instead of saying Ibiza, she would say Abissa. So I came up to her and I tried to delicately say that I hear her speaking Spanish and thought that she should know that she was making mistakes. She looked at me and said, "Great," and then ignored me. I tapped on her shoulder, and then I said again, thinking that she might have misunderstood me, and I repeated myself, "Don't touch people without their permission."
Mm-hmm.
She replied that she wasn't making a mistake, and not everyone speaks Spanish from Spain, and I should stop correcting her and leave her alone. I repeated again, telling her that it should be Ibiza, a different word, but you get it, and she turned around and told me that if anything, I should learn how to pronounce my vowels, because according to her, it's not a pronounced Ibiza, and again to leave her alone. She was so rude. I love how he's like, she was rude to me.
I was invading her personal space and kept telling her she was wrong, but she was rude here.
Yeah. I told her that she not only was ignorant, but disrespectful, and I went to vent to another coworker. Well, it didn't go as planned because my mate told me that Wendy is the Spanish interpreter / translator for our boss, and they literally just came back from Mexico on a business trip. I told him that they set me up, and they knew that I wouldn't have said anything, but he said I made a fool out of myself. I was drunk and I went up to Wendy and I tried to apologize, but she wouldn't listen, telling me to go F myself and again leave her alone. I told her that I was trying to be nice and I owed up to my mistake, but she's disrespectful C who cannot be nice. I spent the rest of the night avoiding her. I woke up this morning with a massive hangover and a message from my mate telling me that I messed up and I should hope that she won't go to HR. I didn't think I did anything wrong. I tried being nice and I apologized, and she just is uptight and completely up her own butt. But my mate warning me is kind of a warning sign, and I'm wondering, just maybe, if I was really a jerk last night. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. And pro tip, if you like someone, 1, listen to them, take hints when they tell you to get lost. 2, don't invade their personal space. And 3, do not correct them over their pronunciations. No one is going to be impressed by your 2 years of high school Spanish.
OP's got the game of a dead fish. I mean, how do you think approaching someone and being like, "Excuse me, but you are wrong," is going to make them endeared to you? How do you think that this is going to work in your favor? She's cute, so I immediately go into mansplaining the translator on how to speak Spanish. Congratulations,
Like,
OP.
even if I pronounce something wrong, if someone's like, "Oh, it's pronounced this way," I'm not like, oh, I'm so impressed by your skills. I'm like, whatever. Why does it matter?
Yeah, yeah. In the end, it doesn't really matter. And OP, I, I'm guessing that you may not have a job for very long. You should hope that she doesn't go to HR about
I
this.
hope she does because she deserves to have a safe work environment.
Yeah. And OP, you just sound like a chore of a person to be around. I'm really sorry, and I hope that your attitude improves here. And I'm trying to be charitable with this. I think that you really made some terrible decisions here, and you really need to think long and hard about
Mm-hmm.
how you approach people in social situations. And also, if getting drunk it does this to you where you start saying things and doing things and being obnoxious like this, maybe you should stay sober. And I mean, there isn't anything wrong with not drinking or not drinking a whole lot here. So again, like, I think your approach with people needs to change. I
Mm-hmm.
really do.
And sometimes people you find attractive just aren't going to be interested in you, and you need to quit when they start first dropping those hints. Don't
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah, exactly. And also, just because someone doesn't want to talk to you doesn't mean that they're uptight or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I think that's really what Amber was getting at. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And Orc8 says, "You're the jerk. You cannot impress anyone by interrupting their private conversation to tell them how they've made a mistake." And Impossible Trainer 48 says, "Even if the interrupting worked, telling her that she was making a mistake totally wouldn't. I don't know how he thought this was a good idea."
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is, this is not even the first time I hear this. Like, it's like every few months we've got this guy who's like, I have 2 years of some language, and I decided to correct this lady who is fluent in this area.
Yeah,
And it's like, why did you think that will impress you? What kind of manual are you all reading?
yeah.
Like, get better books.
Yeah, get better books. All right, folks, our last letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for not agreeing to let my granddaughter bring her cake pops to my Christmas celebration?" I'll preface this by saying that I host a Christmas celebration at my home every year. I have a son and a daughter, both married with kids, and their spouses help out with the celebration planning, but I take care of the food mostly. Everybody seems to be on agreement except for the desserts. Now, for the desserts, I had made a specific list of what to serve. Together with my older granddaughters, 18 and 16, we're going to prepare a cranberry cake and white chocolate dipped madeleines and blondies. It all started when my son told me that my younger granddaughter, Jenny, 10, wanted to bring in cake pops to the gathering and asked if I could add this to my list of desserts. Yeah. I bluntly said that I was sorry, but it wouldn't work. Like I said, the dessert list is very specific, and also, cake pops don't really seem to be properly going with all the other elaborate dessert options on the list. I mean, like, kid, figure this out. Like, we're not serving gourmet cake pops here today, right? Ungourmet cake pops. He said that it's not a big deal and that he was sure that guests will love the cake pops as much as the other desserts and that it would mean so much for her. I said that I was sorry and afford that maybe she bring those cake pops to a family birthday party where they belong. He got upset and talked about how I'm letting my other granddaughters participate while excluding Jenny. I said that my two other granddaughters participate under my supervision. He offered that Jenny bakes the cake pops under my supervision, but I said I don't have time for that. Also, my older granddaughters have more experience and techniques, but Jenny is still a child learning. I'm not discouraging her from passion. I just don't feel like what she makes is considered ready to be put on the menu, since we have a lot of relatives who are hard to please. He argued that I was prioritizing the guest's feelings over my own granddaughter, but I assured him that that's not true. He left and hasn't been responding to my phone calls. I just found out that he told his dad this morning that he's contemplating not attending Christmas with us this year, which I thought was very unnecessary and unreasonable. But I could use some unbiased opinions on this. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk and insufferable. Like,
Yeah.
anyone who would be upset about a 10-year-old bringing cake pops to a party is like not worth having at your dinner. Like, I don't care how hard to please your guests are, just
Yeah.
write them off in the future if they're like, oh no, a 10-year-old made cake
I
pops.
just want to know, like, how fancy is this party
It's way
that
it sounds so bougie. Like, it's way too rich for my blood. Like, if I
it's
was
like
there, I'd just be eating the cake pops. Like, that would be the only thing I could have.
I think OP, you're losing perspective of what Christmas is about and
Mm-hmm.
what Christmas dinner and what family gatherings are about. They're about allowing people to come together and enjoy the celebration. And if your granddaughter feels like this is something that she can do to help and it would make her happy, then maybe let your granddaughter do something that's going to make her happy. You know, it's not going to kill you to have cake pops at your gathering. It
Right.
will not. I promise you. Unless you bite into the cake pop and you choke on it, in which case that's a very unfortunate accident, and I'm very sorry. But this is again not something I can read the future of, so I had no idea. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
Well, no, I think Brian makes a good point there that like Christmas is and the holidays in general are not about having the most elaborate dessert spread. It's
hmm
about celebrating with the people you love. And
yeah,
if you're getting so hung up over having these cake pops that would mean a great deal to your granddaughter, then you're really focusing on the wrong thing.
exactly. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And inconceivable 44 says, "You're the jerk and sound insufferable. I wouldn't attend your Christmas dinner either. I would be eating at home eating the cake pops.
Yep.
I also think that you're confusing. Everyone seems to be on agreement with no one else wants to put up with my temper tantrum, and I'll throw that if I don't get my way."
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really what this does seem like. It seems like OP is the kind of person who is a boat rocker, and everyone just tries to keep them stable, and it's just not a good situation.
Yeah, well, and I understand wanting to have things your way, but if you're doing something with a group of people,
hmm
you have to be able to make compromises.
Yeah, and that's really what it boils down to: compromise. And am I the jerk? The jerk, unwanted, replies, "Seriously, I can imagine everyone has a seating arrangement, and you also must eat in a specifical cadence to please her. Probably even wear certain articles of clothing." All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea here, courteous of Amber.
Courtesy, but we'll
Courtesy.
go with it.
Courteous Amber has brought me tea. Courteous Brian also. English escapes Brian. Oh, we have to grab you the book.
Yeah, if Brian didn't give me a joke book, you do have a joke somewhere you want to find from AFK Panda.
And his joke is, what is always in a plane race?
What?
A sore loser. I like it. I like it a lot. Thanks so much for sharing that joke with us. I appreciate it. I got a good kick out of it. And he said, "P.S. I came up with this joke on the fly." What better punchline to a punchline? Oh, and also, I promised people a Diogenes thing. So Diogenes was in the time of Plato. So here's the story in a nutshell, right? According to Diogenes Laertius, when Pluto gave a tongue-in-cheek definition of a man as a featherless biped, and I'm just reading this right off of Google, by the way, Diogenes plucked a chicken and brought it into Plato's academy, saying, "Behold, I brought you a man." And so the academy added, "with broad flat nails" to the definition, right? So it's just one of these things where be careful about how you define certain things. Like Plato thought that he came up with this really great idea of like what a man is, right? And so Diogenes was basically like chaos, pure chaos of the philosophical world. And he was a contemporary of Plato, as you know. He wasn't like dead when he was, when,
Ghost bring this chicken
yeah.
in.
But so there was always like a little bit of friction between the two, and Diogenes always had like massive antics, right? And so this was actually during the time of Alexander the Great as well. And so Alexander the Great, another story for Diogenes, He used to live in a barrel. Diogenes lived in a barrel on the streets. He really took this philosophy stuff to the limit. And he was famous at the time, and people would come and visit him. And Alexander the Great was one such person who came up to him. And let me make sure that I get this quote right. Alexander the Great was thrilled to finally meet Diogenes, and he approached him in his barrel. And he says, thrilled to meet the famous thinker, Alexander the Great, asked if there was any favor that he might do for him. And to that, Diogenes replied, move a little to the right, you're blocking my sun. Here Alexander the Great is, the most famous, powerful person in the entire world at the time, and Diogenes knows who he is, right? And he's like, you're blocking my sun, get out of the way. And then Alexander the Great declared, if I were not Alexander, then I would wish to be Diogenes. And then Diogenes says something to the effect of that I would too, basically, right? And so it's just like he was a very big, smart person. I love Diogenes. He's such a great character in philosophy. If you haven't heard of him, he's probably one of the lesser known philosophers. All you hear about Plato and Aristotle and all these other philosophers, but you rarely hear about Diogenes. And he was actually a really amazing philosopher in some ways. So
I feel like he must be your ancestor, because I definitely see tendencies in you. I could see Ryan, well, you wouldn't pluck a chicken, but doing something like that.
Yeah, I could see myself doing that too. And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you're all having a great Monday and a great start to your week. I know we're all back on the wheel that we all have to run on. So enjoy your week, and I hope it goes great. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.